Dear Chosen One, you are about to be moved, and not by your own hands, nor by human force, but by a decision that was born in the invisible and now echoes in the physical. A powerful, influential, and unlikely figure, a wealthy stranger, is being used as an instrument to change your reality. But this is not just a change of scenery, it is a spiritual rite. You will be relocated, repositioned, redesigned, and all of this started when you did something you didn't even realize would change everything. A small choice, an honest attitude, a pure gesture that went unnoticed, but not by the universe. Now, the higher forces are activating the plan. You unknowingly sowed. You are not being rewarded. You are being called. This movement is not a prize, it is an activation, a signal that the time to hide your light has come to an end. The gesture you made, in silence, perhaps with pain, became a portal. And on the other side of that portal, there is a new land, a place where your greatness will be tested, where your faith will be shaped, where your identity will be refined. But this territory will not be comfortable. It is fertile, but it requires that the old you dies for the new to bloom. You asked for this with your conduct, and now the answer has come. But before we continue, I have a special request. Leave your like and subscribe to the channel right now. This is not just to strengthen our work. It is a sign that you are aware and want to protect yourself from these invisible forces. Write the number 777 in the comments to declare to the universe that your faith is intense and greater than any process. Chosen One, do not ignore what is happening. You have been seen, you have been recognized, and, most of all, you have been positioned at the center of a spiritual mechanism that does not fail. A change is about to occur, and it will come disguised as a gift. But in reality, it will be a test, a baptism, an initiation. If you are sensitive, you will understand that this opportunity is sacred. If you are wise, you will realize that this wealthy stranger is not a savior. He is a messenger. And if you are brave, you will walk through that door without looking back. Because your soul has already crossed. Only your body needs to follow. You probably still haven't realized the true value of the choice you made. That firm answer you gave when everything around you was telling you to give in. That yes to the truth, even knowing it would cost time, comfort, or approval. The world didn't see it, but the universe registered it. And now, what was planted in silence begins to bloom at high speed. The wealthy stranger who emerges in this story is not just an ordinary benefactor, but a gear in the divine response that manifests in flesh and possibilities. He comes as a response from a spiritual network that operates outside of human logic. And what seems like a simple change of address is, in fact, a coded call to a new level of existence. Your presence will be moved, but your essence will be elevated. This upcoming relocation is not just geographical, it is dimensional. You are being removed from a space where your energy no longer finds expansion and taken to an environment where your frequency will finally be recognized, tested, and refined. It's as if life is saying, you survived the phase of anonymity. Now come live what was prepared in secret. The proposal is not about luxury or ease, but about activation. You are not being placed in a new place to rest, but to bloom, to bear fruit, to prove yourself, not to the world, but to the purpose you carry in your soul since birth. The call is not for comfort. It is for greatness. And with this change, pressures will come that will try to make you retreat to the version you have already overcome. The new environment will test your patience, your courage, your clarity. What was once just potential now needs to turn into action. There will be days when you will long for the old routine, the old habits, even the family limitations that anesthetized you. But remember, you were not expelled, you were sent. This new territory is fertile ground for mature seeds, and you have arrived at the right time to plant all that was held back in dreams. Doubt will come, but so will rebirth. Because it is impossible to carry the weight of expansion without first letting go of attachment to what has already died. The hardest part will not be the change itself, but the confrontation with the idea that now you will have to become what you ask to be. There will be no more excuses, no more shadows to hide in. The new reality will ask you for presence, action, and responsibility. And this is where many stumble, when they realize that the blessing also carries an obligation, that the open door requires a new kind of step. You will be confronted with your own greatness, not as ego, but as mission. Because now it is no longer enough to survive. You have been called to build. And every inch of this new phase will require a new, cleaner, more honest, more powerful version of yourself. You will be tempted to think that everything is happening too fast, that perhaps you are not ready, that you don't understand why you were chosen now. But time is not ahead. You are the one who took too long to believe. Life is simply synchronizing the external with the internal. That version you rehearsed, in silence, which only existed in your most intimate thoughts, has finally gained enough strength to manifest in the real world. And this unexpected invitation is the portal that will connect what you are with what you were born to deliver. The wealthy stranger did not come to change your life. He came to confirm what had already been defined in the higher plan. Now, it is you who must accept. The energy behind this movement is precise. It does not come from campaigns, influences, or human attempts at self-promotion. It arises from the coherence between your heart, your actions, and your destiny. What you planted in the dark will be recognized in the light. And this new phase will test whether you are faithful not only when everything is difficult, but also when the doors finally begin to open. Because it is easy to maintain faith in the desert, but will you maintain humility in the promised land? Will you, when faced with new possibilities, continue to remember why you started? That is the real test, not losing yourself when victory begins to arrive. So, pay close attention to what is appearing before you. Analyze the invitations, the connections, the subtle invitations that seem like coincidences but carry spiritual weight. There is a movement happening in your favor, coming from places you didn't access before. And that is a sign that your vibration is different, that the universe is already moving pieces to position you where your light will be needed. It is not about reward, it is about mission. You were chosen because you endured the process without corrupting yourself. And now the time for fruition has come, but also for accountability. What comes now is beautiful, but also sacred. Many are waiting to be recognized in places where their essence no longer fits. But you, even in silence, accepted exclusion as refinement. And because of that, something extraordinary has been activated. It was not your visible effort that attracted this movement. It was the vibration you sustained in moments no one noticed. Now, this frequency begins to align with people who carry power, but who also have spiritual sensitivity. The wealthy stranger may be literal or symbolic, but he carries with him the mission of transferring you to a new field. And this field is not a stage, it is soil. A fertile ground that will require roots, not just applause. You are not going to a place that will protect you from pain, but to a place where your pain will finally be understood and transmuted. The land you are being taken to is not without challenges. It carries the right trials to activate your most mature growth. It is there that you will learn to sustain your own light without dimming others. And this is the true level of spiritual maturity. Not seeking prominence, but depth. The new geography where you will be inserted carries spiritual codes that are compatible with who you are becoming. You were not relocated by chance, but by resonance. And that's why, don't try to bring into this new time the strategies you used to survive. What worked in times of scarcity, despair, and invisibility may now become an unnecessary burden. You are being called to live abundance with responsibility, exposure with wisdom, and influence with humility. This new phase does not require performative effort, but sincere presence. You no longer need to prove anything. You just need to align with what you were called to manifest. And the more you let go of control, the more the winds of destiny will blow in your favor. The mind, however, will try to resist. It was shaped by years of pain, rejection, fear of loss. It will shout that it's too risky to accept this offer. It will whisper that this is too good to be true. But your spirit, it already knows. It already recognized this territory before your physical eyes saw it. You dreamed of this. You asked for this. And now that it is arriving, don't let the voices of the past sabotage the manifestation that your soul has already authorized. The miracle is not the change. The miracle is allowing yourself to live what is already yours. Many confuse humility with limitation. They believe that accepting the new is arrogance. But true humility is saying yes to what God has prepared, even when it scares you. False humility paralyzes. True humility positions you with courage. You are not taking anyone's place. You are simply occupying the space that was reserved for those brave enough not to sell themselves along the way. The wealthy stranger is just the messenger. The true author of this movement is the spirit that saw your integrity and decided to promote you at the right time. And know this, you are not being rescued because you failed. You are being transferred because you endured. There is a spiritual code that few understand, and it says that fidelity in the hidden always precedes elevation in the visible. You did not arrive here by luck, connections, or maneuvers. You arrived because you vibrated on the frequency of truth when everything around you seemed like a lie. The price you paid in silence now turns into harvest. And the new place that awaits you carries everything you need to build. Not to flaunt, but to edify. Before moving forward, take a deep breath and reflect. Are you ready to abandon the version of yourself that survived? To embrace the version that was made to reign? Because that is the real question behind the offer that is coming. It's not just about accepting an invitation. It's about accepting yourself as a bearer of a higher destiny. Life is moving pieces. The spiritual board is in motion. But you need to be whole, available, and awake to occupy the new without trying to replicate the old. The land is new, but the temple must be as well. What is about to happen to you is not a gift that fell from the sky by chance, but the natural unfolding of a code activated by your silent obedience. Life does not reward beautiful words or consistent appearances. It responds to real frequencies, those sustained when no one is watching, when everything hurts, when the easiest path is before you, and still, you choose the truth. Now, this code has found a human channel to manifest, and the wealthy stranger enters the scene as someone simply fulfilling a higher order. He doesn't know everything, but he feels you need to be somewhere else. Destiny is using material channels to make spiritual moves. and you have been authorized to cross. But crossing, chosen one, requires letting go. No one enters a new dimension carrying the weight of old versions. What you wore to protect yourself, the roles you took on to please, the fears you used as excuses, all of that needs to die now. Because this new territory is not compatible with your shell, it only responds to your essence. The price of the new phase is the total release of what you used to survive. The wealthy stranger can take you to the door, but crossing will be your choice. And you will only pass if you are light, if you are clean, if you are true. It's not the body that weighs. It's the stories you still tell yourself. The crossing that awaits you is not linear, and it will not be done with red carpets. It will be marked by unexpected encounters, by silences that require firmness, by pressures that will try to mold you again into the old formats. But all of this will be a test to see if you will defend your essence or retreat to the character that no longer serves. The change is profound because it is spiritual. It requires alignment between what you feel, speak, and do. The new place is sacred, but it will only reveal itself to the true you. And if you try to enter with disguises, it will close up like soil that rejects foreign seeds. You must enter as one who honors this altar. And when the pain of change threatens to paralyze you, remember, it is natural to feel fear when letting go of the known. It is natural to doubt when the road opens up. But don't confuse insecurity with a sign that you are wrong. In fact, the discomfort you feel now is proof that you are exactly where you should be. Because no one crosses portals in complete peace. The old shouts, the new whispers. But your soul knows which voice is true. Listen to what vibrates, not what just sounds good. The frequency of your new phase is already available, waiting only for you to say, "Yes, I'm ready." This is the moment to remember who you are. But more than that, to remember who you have never stopped being, even when they tried to shape you otherwise. You were never small. You were just surrounded by limits that didn't belong to you. And this relocation is your chance to prove to yourself that expansion was not a dream. It was a calling that has now gained form, address, coordinates. The new land is not an end. It is a beginning, a territory where your identity can unfold into expression, mission, construction. You are not just being moved, you are being revealed. The world has still not seen your true form, because the places you've been could not bear your light. But now, the universe is positioning you in a field where your greatness will not be a problem. It will be an answer to people, to environments, to systems that have been waiting for someone like you, even without knowing it. This new phase is not just about you. It's about everything that will be transformed when you arrive whole, without fear, without masks, without excuses. The wealthy stranger relocates you, but it is the heavens that send you, and that changes everything. And if you still wonder, why me? Look at your journey. See how many times you've fallen, fought, and wanted to give up. See how many times you chose to continue, even without applause, even with pain. That's why. Because the world needs people who have walked through fire and didn't lose their goodness. People who saw the bottom of the pit and still chose to look up. You are not being relocated because you won. You are being relocated because you remained pure in the midst of the battle. And now, the world is ready to see your silent victory turn into visible impact. There is a spiritual network that only responds to integrity. It is not activated by charisma, fame, or manipulation. It vibrates to the sound of silent truth. And you, chosen one, have been noticed by this network. The wealthy stranger who meets you is just the last link in an invisible chain that began back when you chose to be who you truly are, even when it cost you acceptance. Every no you said to what corrupted you built this path. Every tear swallowed, in silence, turned into a stone in this foundation. Destiny does not forget those who stand firm, even in darkness. And now, the light arrives. The new geography is not just a place on the map. It is a state of consciousness, a vibrational field where your soul will be able to breathe after so much time being compressed in environments where it didn't fit. This new territory will expand your senses, your intuition, your creativity, because it doesn't just accommodate your energy, it demands your presence. You will notice that everything begins to flow more naturally. The right doors will open effortlessly. The right connections will appear without explanation. And this is not magic. It's coherence. When the right place meets the right being, creation happens. But be careful, chosen one. With the desire to rush the process, yes, you have been relocated. But now you are the seed. And seeds need time to adapt to new soil before they grow. In the first days, everything will feel strange. The voices will be different, the rhythms uncomfortable, the social codes will seem distant. But don't be alarmed. You are not lost. You are being reprogrammed. The new territory demands a new language, and it will only be accessible to those who have the patience to listen. Stay quiet. Observe. Breathe. The initial silence is part of the activation. You are not arriving late nor early. You are exactly on time. Everything that didn't happen before was deliverance. Everything that seemed like a delay was preparation. You didn't just need a new address. You needed a new internal format. And now that this has been achieved, the universe can move you without you destroying what you will receive. Relocation only happens when the internal structure is ready to sustain what's to come. That's the secret many overlook. Life does not deliver what you desire. It delivers what you are prepared to protect. And protecting also means knowing when to retreat, when to say no, when to recognize that not everything that shines was sent by God. The new environment will bring opportunities that will test your clarity, proposals that will seem good but will carry disguises. And here you will need to remember, you didn't come to be accepted. You came to be positioned. This land is holy, and only clean hands should touch what will be built here. Don't negotiate your essence for comfort. Don't sell your mission for convenience. You've already walked through the desert. Don't voluntarily return to it. The expansion that is approaching is not linear. It will be made of flights and pauses, of euphoria and emptiness. But everything will be orchestrated. Every silence will be fertile. Every closed door will be redirection. Every broken connection will be deliverance. The new level will not be just about what you conquer, but about what you stop carrying. Too much weight does not enter this new place. And don't be deceived. Sometimes what weighs is not people or places, but unrealistic expectations and outdated versions of yourself. Let go. Take with you only what is true, and above all, never forget where you came from. The wealthy stranger met you on the way, but he doesn't know your scars. He doesn't know how many times you had to rebuild yourself with the fragments of hope. He didn't see the nights when you asked for a sign, but God saw. The heavens saw. And that's why now you are being placed in the center of the harvest. Not to forget your pain, but to give meaning to it. Your new place will be an altar of healing, not just for you, but for all those who will watch you bloom where there was once only dust. Your new time doesn't begin when you arrive at this new place. It already began when you said no to others. What diminished you? When you chose to remain whole, even in the face of systems that required fragmentation. When you refused to negotiate your light to fit into other people's shadows. What is happening now is just the visible unfolding of a spiritual decision made long before any proposal appeared. You have already entered the new frequency. Relocation only comes to adjust the body to the spirit. The land that awaits you is a consequence of the vibration you have already sustained in faith. And now, it's time to plant consciously what the heavens have entrusted into your hands. Perhaps you still feel small in the face of all this. Perhaps you look at yourself and think, can I sustain this phase? But the answer has already been given in the silence of the days when no one saw you. And yet, you remained firm. Life does not deliver expansion to those who have no roots, and you, chosen one, have created roots where there was only stone. You bloomed in places where no one would bet on you. Now, you will be repositioned not just to receive, but to teach, to transmit, to radiate what is only learned through pain and love. Your journey is the soil where many will step to find direction. But be careful not to be fooled by the appearance of the new time. Success may come camouflaged with demands that harm the soul. Visibility may try to buy your essence. So, remember, the new is not better just because it is new. It is better if it is true. And to sustain the true, you will need to maintain the same vigilance you had in the valley, even now that the mountain is in sight. It is not comfort that validates your mission. It is fidelity to what you carry within. Keep listening to the voice that brought you here, even when new voices try to divert your focus with cheap promises. There will be moments when you will miss the anonymity. You will long for the simplicity of the past. But in those moments, take a deep breath and remember, everything you've lived was necessary to form the character that now sustains this phase. Do not lament what has passed. Be grateful. Every tear, every silence, every no prepared you to recognize what is yours when it finally arrives. And it has arrived. The new time is real, and it is not coming. It is already here. You just need to walk towards it with a clean faith and an awakened heart. The door is open, but it is you who must walk through it with firm steps. And if fear appears, and it will, do not see it as an enemy, but as confirmation that you are stepping out of the zone where you were already a master. Fear is the guardian of the threshold between the old and the new. It always arises when the spirit is about to expand, but now you already know. It's not about the absence of fear, it's about the presence of purpose. Walk with it, but don't let it guide your steps. You have been called to be light in territories where many are still groping. Your silent yes is becoming direction for others, and your crossing, even in pain, will be collective healing. You are not going to conquer. You are going to manifest. Conquest still depends on effort, but manifestation happens when there is alignment. And you are aligned. The heavens have already confirmed this through the people who have started to appear, the doors that have begun to open, the signs that have started to blow in your direction. Observe. Be attentive. Synchronicities are the language of the invisible. Do not ignore the subtle signs. They are saying, keep going, you are right. Now is the time. This is the season where the invisible becomes flesh, and the improbable becomes the way, and above all, remain grateful. Gratitude not only honors what you receive, it amplifies it. Gratitude is the frequency that stabilizes the spirit during the crossing. Even when you don't understand, even when it seems that nothing makes sense, be thankful. Thankful for what is leaving because it opened space. Thankful for what is coming because it confirms your courage. Thankful even for the silence because, in it, you learn to listen to what the world does not say. Gratitude is not a feeling. It is a decision. And that decision attracts new heavens. You are being repositioned. And that, chosen one, is a miracle disguised as change. Now that the new territory has been revealed, your mission is to cross with awareness, not with anxiety. Life has already repositioned the elements. Now, it expects you to reposition your posture. Do not walk as if you are testing your luck, but as one who knows they were called by right. You are part of something greater. Your presence in this new place is a response to prayers that were not even yours. People are waiting for you, even without knowing they are waiting. Environments will recognize you by your vibration. The world will be affected by your arrival. And the impact you cause will be a direct result of the fidelity you sustained when no one was watching. Do not expect perfection at first. The new time will also have challenges, and sometimes it will seem like you are not ready. But spiritual maturity is not born from absolute certainty, but from constant willingness. Keep moving. Keep trusting. Keep being. Full manifestation will come with consistency, not haste. The first seeds may seem timid, but they will be the ones to pave the way for an abundant harvest. And every step you take, even if trembling, will Be a declaration of faith, because your silent courage has more power than the noise of appearances. Do not be deceived by the fleeting shine of the world. The mission you carry is rare because it was sculpted in suffering and washed in fidelity. You are a living altar, a reminder that there is still truth in the midst of chaos, that there is still light that cannot be sold. The new territory will reveal you, but it will also ask for care. Beware of shortcuts. Beware of easy applause. Beware of invitations that try to dress your ego instead of your mission. You were not called to impress. You were called to transform. And every transformation begins in the consistency of what is pure. Return to silence whenever necessary. When everything is too noisy, be silent. When opinions are many, step back to listen to the only voice that matters. The voice of the Spirit. It still speaks, and it is in this subtle dialogue that you will receive direction, strength, and clarity. The presence of God will be your true territory. Much more than a new address, it is this presence that sustains you. Because if you are in tune with it, any place becomes holy ground. The promised land is not just physical. It is an inner state of alignment, presence, and purpose. And you are already within it. If this message has found your heart, it's because you are ready. Ready to step out of hiding. Ready to take the place that has been prepared for you. Ready to bloom where before you only resisted. So, chosen one, declare your readiness. Write the number 727 in the comments as a signal to the universe that you have accepted your crossing. Leave your like now to seal this word. Subscribe to the channel to keep receiving revelations that align you. And share this video with another chosen one who is on the verge of their own calling. The world doesn't need more shiny figures. It needs true presences. And yours, chosen one, carries the sound of old promises that are now being fulfilled. The figure of the wealthy stranger was just the spark. But the fire has been burning in you for a long time. Now is the time to ignite the new territory with that flame. Walk with reverence, act with wisdom, speak with authority, live with gratitude. And never forget, you are not just changing places. You are becoming the very place where God resides.